Right. Nice and slow. Hmm?
Swords!
Hmm? Sure.
Watcher, do you seek a blessing?
Gods, I beg you, grant me a posting on the far side of the world.
Good, you are here. Clario has made good on his promise. We are making ready to free your ship. I say still that you are fortunate. The ship was nearly lost, but it will float. For how long, I cannot say. You will wish to find a friendly port with some speed, I think. So you will go to the great Kahanga city as well. You must sail north for some time, and then a little east. Take care in Nekitaka, outsider. It will close its jaws around you, and you will never notice. Come, we will see your defiant out to sea.
Address the matter of our ship's resources before we get underway. It saddens me to inform you that we lost several crew and most of our provisions during the storm. However, Port Margé appears to be well supplied, and I expect the recent disaster has left several sailors in want of a ship. I suggest we contract for additional supplies and crew before we return to open water, or our voyage may indeed be a short one.
Agrasima, Casita, for taking me on.
On it.
I'm glad to see you in good health, my lord. With Cadnua in ruins, there was little purpose in waxing sentimental over the rubble. I was able to salvage enough of your treasure and wealth to afford the purchase of the Defiant and the hire of a small crew. Unfortunately, that consumed the remainder of your once considerable assets. Under the circumstances, I hoped you would not object.
Ship life sure is an adventure, ain't it? Just think of all the places we can sail to, all the sights we could see. This is nothing like being stuck on a farm, or cloistered in the back of a temple. Tell me what's on your mind? They're there in my head when I sleep. And sometimes I can taste them on the back of my tongue like a smear of grit. Happens when I take in a particularly volatile soul. Will we? Ought we? I just don't know. I trust you, Watcher. I swear I do. I worry sometimes about what's gonna happen to me. But, well, it's not like I can turn my back on my duty to my god, even if it kills me. You need me, I'll be too...
What's on your mind?
Thank you again for maintaining my story in front of Vanessa and the others. I didn't enjoy deceiving them, but it seemed simpler than the alternative. I'm reforming one of the most secretive organizations in all of Aora. One with a rather troubled history as far as animancy is concerned. That's not the sort of thing one shares with new friends. Believe me, I take no pleasure in duplicity. At your suggestion, I took up Theos's mantle after we parted company. I wanted to use the Leaden Key to improve the lives of Kith. So for 5 years I've been tracking down Leaden Key circles, searching for the places where they operate in secret, hoping they can be reformed. Theos had many lifetimes in which to build up the Leaden Key. I'm beginning to appreciate that advantage. The task has been more difficult than I anticipated. I don't think I fully understood the weight of the decisions I would have to make, or the burden of living with them. It was much easier when I only had to follow someone else's lead. My father's, Theos's, yours. I wish I knew. After we defeated Theos, I thought the hard part of changing the Leaden Key would be tracking down its members and operations. Perhaps this would be easier with an example. I went to a village in Old Valia. a run-down backwater of a place. Centuries ago, the Leaden Key had intervened to end some heretical cult. The details were lost, but what had endured was a practice of ritual bloodletting. A gruesome, pointless tradition. At every full moon, the villagers would feed the soil with their blood. No one, young or old, sick or hale, was exempt. That's where it gets complicated. I thought new leadership might guide them away from this practice. So I adjusted some of the deeds pertaining to the ownership of their land. It just so happened that a nearby Comtessa, a rather prosperous one, had a claim on the village, and the fertile fields around it. I did it for the right reasons. Not that this changed much. The Comtessa annexed the village, as I'd planned. But she did nothing about the bloodletting ritual. And while it continued, she taxed the villagers to pay for the plantation she was building, and conscripted half of them to defend it. I had to do something, didn't I? I keep wondering what I might have done differently, or how I could have known better. I suppose so. I should get some rest. It's been a long day, and you've given me a lot to think about. Ah, that. I'm looking for an old Leaden Key sect. I've found several references, but I want to be sure. Please, let me go over my notes again. Then I promise I'll tell you everything.
What's gnawing you?
I'm a little worried about Aloth. I think the strain of the journey is getting to him. He's not his usual self. The old Aloth used to really like it when we made fun of him. He'd just stand there real quiet with his mouth sort of twitching and his eyes real big like he couldn't believe how good we were getting him. But the new Aloth doesn't just sit and take it. It's like he's losing his sense of humor. No, not all of it. There's the Leaden Key. We went all the way through the Deerwood to stop them. Now Aloth just picks up where Theos left off? The Leaden Key. I don't need to tell you what they did. Just about everything I ever cared about back home, they ruined it. What do you suppose Aloth's been up to these last few years? And why do you suppose he's back here, with us? I don't know. Something doesn't sit right is all. You telling me you don't have suspicions? He did, once. But seeing as how he replaced Theos, it makes you wonder about his reasons. Well, appreciate you taking the time.
Ado, Watercadno. On behalf of the Principes and Patrina, I must request we meet in parley. E così, It has been some time since I last asked another's permission. I have heard some marvelous tales regarding your ventures in the Deerwood. In fact, you are the first dragon slayer I have ever met, outside of a grave. Some fools would seek to make a fortune by pilfering from one such as you.
I take it he is not one of those fools. Perhaps we should listen.
I believe you have met such a fool. Captain Benweth of the Drake. Gelarde. Then that should make this easy. I am keen to show my rascal of a compatriot some much-needed humility. I thought perhaps you may care to as well.
For Artees, do my job for me, friend. Hope you don't die in the effort.
Benweth's Drake took damage during the storm. Eventually, he will need to dock for repairs, and when he does, Seraphin can find him for you. He is rather an unrefined creature, but he is a most skilled ship hunter, I assure you.
Unrefined? Begging your pardon, Captain, but I'd be the high fucking model of the Gentleman of Fortune. As for Benweth, that sucker of squid tits be as predictable as the tide. I'd wager all my furriest bits that he'd set sail for Deadlight.
That would be felicitous indeed, as I believe the traitor Remaro hides there as well. I quite enjoy killing two men with a single bullet.
Wouldn't have even thought of it if you hadn't brought it up, sir. Now, I ain't hardly in any hurry to leave the fine company of the Gentlemen of Leisure, but the captain be right about me finding your mark. Adding to that, you sail into Fort Deadlight not knowing your innies from your outies, you might very well find the locals cannon fucking your boat to sodden splinters.
What venture does not require an investment to be prosperous? The Seraphin is an allowance, which I expect you will return, in one payment or another.
Oh, you won't be regretting this, Watcher. At least so long as you keep us heavy in grog and light on the onions. Ugh, them dirty shit apples ain't never agreed with me, and I'll be suspecting they never will.
He's not sleeping near my berth, I promise you that much.
I sail now for Dunwich, my own safe port. I will await you there, should you be successful in schooling our wayward captain.
Cool. Be keeping a weather eye peeled for a way up.
You sure?
What?